right, Guardian fans, we're about to start the third game here in Altoona, Wisconsin against Milwaukee Admirals. We just had opening face-off. Admirals win it. They start to move to the neutral zone. They fire that on net. Lombardo pushes that out to the near corner. Puck comes loose right out front. They fire. That goes wide. Crowley now picks it up behind the net. He rims it around, trying to get to the net in the half wall. And that skates it back deep into his zone. He starts to skate it around his own net. He moves it over to Cronlin. Cronlin then moves it up the wall, trying to get it to Amos. That goes the length of the ice. The Admirals going to pick it up. They're going to rim it all the way around. And that now battling on the half wall. Comes out to Simonson. Simonson trying to hold his own. Admirals come out with it. He's got a one-on-one coming back against Cronlin. Cronlin then breaks that up. Hits it up to Amos. Amos tips it up to Lynette. Lynette then has stripped off the puck as the Admirals start to come back through the neutral zone. Cronlin then pokes that away, but Admirals are able to hold the zone and then fire it on net. Lombardo pushes that off to the side, picked up by Higgy. Higgy now moving it up. He chips it up the boards, trying to get it to Lynette. That's a little long. Admirals now regrouping in the neutral zone. They pass it up to the far side. That's poked away by Barr. Barr then tips. Admirals then slap that one down in the zone. Morbacek goes back to retrieve. He throws it up the wall to O'Brien. O'Brien's battling. Two Admiral players there. It goes back into the corner for Higgy to pick up. Higgy hits the brace, comes back up the same side. That pass is intercepted. They shoot it on net. That goes off the side of the net and down into the corner. Morbacek now battling along with Campbell. Campbell's then stripped off the puck. Admirals skating around in their own zone. They blow an edge. That comes right out to Barr. Barr now skating out of the zone. He passes it up to O'Brien. O'Brien now with speed through the neutral zone, taking it to the outside. He cuts back. He drops it to Barr. Barr with it on his backhand. He comes around. He tucks it. And a goal! Guardians strike first with 12:09 left in the first period. So I believe that play started back in the D zone with Campbell getting it up to Barr. Barr moving it to O'Brien. O'Brien coming through. He gets it back to Barr, and Barr buries it on the far side. Crowley goes back to retrieve behind his own net. He gets stripped off the puck. Admirals then pass it out to the dot. They take a shot. That comes to the backside. Just hops over the stick. They're going to have a tripping penalty on Simonson.
Time the goal, 1:51.
So Guardians will go on the penalty kill. Face-off come back into their own zone. The Admirals win the draw. Then Lynette dives, trying to get that puck out of the zone. They're able to knock that out into the neutral zone. Admirals now regrouping as they go D to D.
Guardians penalty number 18, Coy Simonson,
They start to skate into the zone. They're then bumped off the puck by Olsen. Olsen then goes down. Morbacek goes back to pick it up, battling right there on the half wall. They ended up getting that out in the neutral zone, picked up by the Admirals. As they regroup, they go to the far side of the ice. They then move it up to the middle. That's broken up. Olsen then trying to chip it up the boards. He stripped off the puck. Admirals then dump it down behind the net. Morbacek goes to retrieve. Admirals pick it up. They fired on that. That's wide. That rims all the way around to the far side. Admirals now taking the puck through the top of the zone. That's intercepted by Lynette. Lynette now moving it up the ice. He skates to the near side here and dumps it. Dumps it down deep so they can get a change. Admirals pick it up behind their net. They move it out to the wall. They cut back and throw it across ice. That's intercepted by Amos. Amos now with it. He shoots. That's blocked. Campbell now with it. He chips it out to Higgy at the point. He fires. That just goes wide. Admirals now moving it out in the middle of the ice. Higgy steps up one more time. The Admirals pick it up just top of the zone. They then throw it the length of the ice, and that's going to be an ice.
Go, Black. Go. Get ready.
Faceoff comes back into the Admiral zone. 10:28 left in the first period. Scores 1-0 if you're just tuning in favor of the Guardians. Puck's tipped. Goaltender covers. We'll have another faceoff. Face-off's drawn in the corner. Admirals then go up the wall. They then pass it out in the middle of the ice. Conlon tries to step up. Admirals now moving it deep in the zone. They got 2-on-1. They fire it. That's deflected up over the net. O'Brien gets it up to Campbell. Campbell with it and moving up the far side. Campbell now moving it in deep. He starts to skate it around behind the net. He now comes towards the net. He fires. Puck's loose out in front. That kicks back over to the far wall. Admirals throw it up to the wall. That comes to Barr. Barr kicks it up. He then tries to get that puck deep. Admirals then able to hit it out in the neutral zone. Guardians now regrouping. Puck comes to Higgy. Higgy comes up to O'Brien as O'Brien's coming up the near side. O'Brien's then stripped off the puck. Barr now with it. He takes it away in the neutral zone. He gets it back to Conlon. Conlon over to Higgy. Higgy then chips it up to O'Brien. O'Brien chips it off to Campbell. Campbell now goes over to Barr. Barr moves to the outside. He comes back. He escapes out. He moves through. He's now coming through the top of the zone. He dumps it off to Conlon. Conlon's then stripped off the puck. They got a 3-on-1 coming back the other way. So they try to pass it up. They're not able to hold on to it. Goes down into the near corner. They're now skating it in towards the net. That's broken up by Campbell. Puck's now loose behind the net. Simonson comes out with it. He passes it up to O'Brien. O'Brien moves it up to Barr. Barr cuts it to the inside. He cuts it out. He's going around. He steps to the outside. He then tries the centering pass. He then dumps it out to Simonson at the point. Simonson starts to skate it deep into the zone. He's looking for an opening in front of the net. He tries to get it off to O'Brien. That hits the skate and comes into the near corner. O'Brien now battling. He chips it around behind the net where Admirals are going to be able to pick it up. They start to skate it out of the zone. They tip up. They hit one of their own players. Kicks out right into the high slot. Admirals then send it down. That hits the skate. That's not going to be an icing. Higgy's got to go back to get it. Higgy picks it up. He starts to look up the ice. He passes it up. That's intercepted right at the blue line. They fire. That's tipped. Lombardo kicks it out. And it's rimmed all the way around. That comes out high to their point. They fire another one on net. They got a guy in the back door. He fans on it. Puck's now in the far corner. Higgy goes back to pick it up. He backhands it further down into the corner. Comes right back behind the net. He rims it around the other way. Lynette comes down trying to get to it. He throws it back to Higgy. Higgy then dumps it back to Lynette. Lynette trying to get it out, but that puck's poked away deep into the corner again. Admirals now skating it down into the corner. They come out. They skate it around behind the net. They then go out to their point. That's chipped out. Guardians now have a rush coming back the other way. Amos has taken out, and we're going to have a penalty. Amos a little slow to get up there as he was taken down, but he's back on his feet. Skating it back to the bench. O'Brien being a good teammate there, helping him out. That'll bring the face-off down into the Admiral zone, and Guardians will go on the power play. Face-off comes to Barr. Barr moves it back to Simonson. Simonson passes it over to Conlon. Conlon fires it on net. That's tipped out front, hits the goaltender, and then a cover will have another face-off. Face-off's one to O'Brien. O'Brien goes back to Conlon. Conlon moves over to Simonson. Simonson then moves it over to O'Brien. O'Brien fires. He had that corner picked. Goaltender's able to get his blocker up. They pass it down to Campbell. Campbell now gets it over to Simonson. Simonson now skates it in close to the net. He fires it, tipped out in front. Puck's loose. Still loose. That kicked over into the corner. Campbell goes down to pick it up. He cuts it back to the net. He's got a lane. He cuts back, backhand. Goaltender saves it. Puck's loose. The puck ended up in the net, but they're going to wave that off.
Hey, you can't lay there.
So 6:51 left in the first period. Score still 1-0 in favor of the Guardians. Face off down in their end. 47 seconds left on this power play. Face-offs. One by the Guardians. Campbell tries to get it up to Moravicek. Morvacek then strips it away in the neutral zone. Campbell starts to move up. He's poked out the puck. We're going to be offsides. Face off just outside the Admiral zone. That comes out to Lynette. Lynette steps around. Lynette starts to skate the zone. He then chips it down into the corner. Olsen goes down to get it. He picks it up. He starts to skate it around behind the net. He cuts back the other way. He cuts back. He's now looking for an opening. He gets it over to Lynette. Lynette now tries to get it back to Olsen. He stripped off the puck. That comes out to Higgy. Higgy starts to skate it deep into the zone. He cuts back to the middle. Amos is there trying to get a hold of it. That comes out to the point. Higgy now dancing across the blue line as he skates into the zone and gets it over to Lynette. Lynette now skates it around behind the net. He's looking for an opening. He cuts back, trying to look for the middle. Olsen now picks it up in the far corner. He's taking out the puck. Admirals pick it up. They then chip it up high through the middle of the ice. That gets past Morvacek. As he goes down, Higgy goes back to pick it up. Higgy's then stripped off the puck. He pokes it back into the corner. The Admirals taking her out behind the net. Morvacek coming over. They then pass it cross ice. Amos nearly intercepts it. They throw it deep down. Higgy now backhands it up to Lynette, who's racing down, trying to get it into the far corner. Gets down there fast enough to prevent the icing there. Lynette now dancing around in the corner. He moves it into the middle of the ice. Puck's loose. Admirals pick it up. They then fire at the length of the ice. McCrowlin knocks that down right in the neutral zone as he starts to move it up the far side. He cuts it back into the middle. He's then poked off the puck. Admirals now unable to get that puck out of the zone. McCrowlin's able to hold it in. Puck's then shot around behind the net. Admirals pick it up. They move it up. Campbell's there. He breaks that up. Gets it over to O'Brien. O'Brien now battling the corner. Admirals pick it up behind the net. They're skating around the far side. They then move it out into the middle. As they start to move through the neutral zone, they fire it on net. That's going to go over into the near corner. Campbell's going to battle. He gets it up the wall to O'Brien. O'Brien passes into the middle, trying to get the bar. Bar can't hold on to it. That goes all the way across, so the Admirals pick it up as they start to regroup. They go D to D, but then O'Brien's able to dump that puck deep. Puck now comes out in the middle of the ice. Crowlin steps up. He's able to hold his own. He cuts it back into the middle. He tries to fire it on net, but Admiral stripped that puck away as they start to skate it through the neutral zone on the far side. They then dump it down deep, forcing Simonson to go down to get it behind his own net. He comes around. He passes it up to Campbell. Campbell's then stripped on the puck right on the blue line. Comes right out to our D. O'Brien now steps around the guy. He gets it through the legs. Puck goes all the way down into the far corner. That comes to Barr. Barr then sends that puck deep into the zone, rims it all the way around, where Olsen's going to pick it up on the far side as they go for a change. Admirals now pick it up behind the net as they start to skate it out of their zone. They pass it up. That's off the mark. That comes right to Morvacek. Morvacek then passes it cross ice, where Lynette's going to pick it up. Lynette circles back into his own zone and trying to create some space. He's now moving it up through the middle. He's stripped away right in the neutral zone. Admirals now come back the other way. They fired on net, and that's gloved down and held on by Lombardo. Well, a face-off down in the Guardian zone. With 3:12 left in the first period. Scores 1-0 in favor of the Guardians. Guardians come away with the draw. Hagee steps up off that face-off. He's now skating up the far side. He tries to cut it back to the net, but he's poked off the puck. He then hits it around behind the net. Admirals pick it up. And that's able to poke that puck away. They shoot it around behind the net. Admirals now pass it up to the half wall. Olsen now breaking that play up. He comes out with it. He fires it on net, and that's gloved and held on to by the Admirals goaltender. Will face off in the Admiral zone. Face off on the bar. Bar gets to Simonson. Simonson then tries to chip it down deep. Bar's battling down in the half wall. He comes out with it. He starts to skate it towards the net. He backhands it. Puck's loose right out in front. Bar picks it up on the far side. That's poked away. Admirals then send it to the blue line. Crowlin trying to hold it. Admirals come out with it as they're moving through. They start to gain the zone. Simonson's able to poke that puck out to the far wall. Simonson then trying to get it to Bar. Comes out to the Admirals defense as they dump it down deep. Crowlin's then tripped up behind the net. Puck's loose right out in front. That's kicked out. Their defense is able to hold the zone. It's nearly blocked. Comes over to O'Brien. O'Brien now trying to chip it up out of the zone. Crowlin now, he goes down. They shoot it on net. That's deflected. Lombardo then pushes that off to the corner. Comes right out front. That is broken up by Crowlin. Comes out to Bar. Bar tried to get it in the middle. He has a stick hit. They shoot it on net. Lombardo kick saves that one over into the corner. Simonson then slaps it up the wall. Guardians still unable to get out of the zone. They fire it one more time. Lombardo slides over and is able to hold on to that one while the face-off. Morvacek rims that puck all the way around to the far side. Amos then tries to backhand it up out of the zone. Higgy's there as well. Higgy then chips it up high up into the air into the neutral zone where Amos is going to, tries to pick that up. This goes under his stick. Admirals now coming back the other way. They fire it towards the net. That's broken up. Morvacek throws it down into the corner. Olsen's now going to pick it up right at the top of the circles. He gets it over to Lynette. Lynette now moving through the neutral zone. He moves it to the outside. He hits the brakes as he curls away. They go down. He's now got to lay into the net. He then kicks it out to Higgy. Higgy with it. He fires it towards the net. Puck's loose right out front, right in the slot. They fire it. That just goes wide. Lynette picks it up in the corner. He cuts back the other way. He then gets it over to Olsen. Olsen now chips it out. Higgy then dumps it deep into the zone where Lynette's going to pick it up in the near corner. Lynette now looking to get it front. He's taken down. Arm goes up, and Admirals will have a penalty with 27 seconds left in the period.
Good job, Briggs. One more push. Go!
Face-off's one to O'Brien. O'Brien goes back to Crowlin. Crowlin moves in.
Milwaukee penalty number 8, voting gas.
O'Brien sends
Interference.
it back to Crowlin. Crowlin now skates it into the zone. He chips it off back to O'Brien in the corner. Goes back out high to Crowlin one more time. Crowlin goes back to O'Brien. O'Brien now steps in close to net. He fires. That comes out, hits the post. Looks like the puck was in. And they're going to call a goal. With 2 seconds left in the period, Guardians go up by 2. Puck bounced around quite in front, hit the post, ended up behind the goalie. I'm not sure who ended up tapping that one in. We'll have to wait for the announcement.
We got one too.
Face-offs. Battle right there at the dot, and that's going to do it for the first period. So after one, scores 2-0 in favor of the Guardians.
Guardians
Shots
goal,
on goal, Guardians
number 18,
12.
Coy Simonson,
Admirals
assisted
10.
by number 11,
We'll
Owen
take a
Campbell.
quick break,
Time
and
goal,
we'll be back
13:58.
for the second period. here just had the opening face-off. Admirals win the draw. They throw it up the boards. Moravicek's going to push that up the wall here. Moravicek now with it. Admirals then send it back. Bar with it. He has that puck poked away. Admirals now skating it down into the zone. They fire it. That goes off of Moravicek. Hagee picks it up in the corner. He chips it up. Barr's now battling. He chips it around, gets it out into the neutral zone. Brian hustling down, trying to get control of that puck. They pass it cross ice. Puck's now loose. Admirals go up the far side, and that's going to be long, and that should be enough for an icing. They're going to wave that off. Admirals now coming through. They get it right to the net. They fire. That's knocked down by Lombardo. Comes right out top. Gets it up to Barr. Barr now going down. He gets it to the outside. He pushes through. He's now got a guy on the far side. Pass it over. Shot and goal! Barr gets the outside. Sees Campbell breaking down the back door. Gets it over to him, and he bangs that one in for goal number 3. Admirals come out with the draw as they start to move the neutral. They dump it down deep. That's going to rim all the way around the net to the far corner.
Time of goal, 56 seconds.
Simonson now battling in the corner. Admirals come out with it as they start to skate it in. They then flip it out to the point. That's poked away by Amos. There's a nice reach. Poked that puck out into the neutral zone. Admirals now dump that puck deep. That rims all the way around behind the net. Coy hustling down into the far corner. They chip it around where Olsen's going to pick it up. He moves it along to Cronlin. Cronlin now moves it up to Amos. Amos chips it out in the middle to Lynette. Lynette now has a jump. He gets it to the outside. He's got Olsen on the far side. He's just not able to get a stick on it to get it to him. He kicks it back out to Cronlin. Cronlin now dumps it off to Olsen on the far side. Olsen fires it on net. And their goaltender is going to seal that one up while a face-off down in their zone. Face-off goes right to the boards. The Admirals come out with it. They rim it around behind the net. That's going to go up the half wall. They pick it up. They start to move it out of their zone. It's then dumped back down deep by the Guardians. The Admirals pick it up in the corner. They hit the brakes, come back up the near wall here. They chip it up. They then move it out into the middle. That goes all the way across into the neutral zone. They then move it up in the middle. They gain the zone. They shoot it on net. That's pushed away. Hagee's going to pick it up. He circles back. He tries to get the bar, but that's intercepted. Comes right back to the Guardians. Now comes the Bar. Bar's got a breakaway. He's coming in. He dekes, shoots it right into the belly of the goaltender. And we'll have a whistle.
Good work, man. Good work.
Admirals come out with the draw as they skate it down into their corner. They then backhand it around behind the net where the D is going to pick it up. They move it up the wall. They can't hold on to it cleanly. Picked up. That comes out to Campbell. Campbell's trying to chip it up. That comes out in the middle. That's going to come out to Higgy at the point. He tries to dump it deep. Doesn't get much on it. That's going to kick out. Moravicek's going to go back to pick it up. He skates it around his net. He then throws it around. That's going to rim around. Higgy's going to pick it up. He then flips it up, that hits into the netting, and it's out of play. Face off just outside the Guardian zone. 11:02 left. In the period, Admirals come out with it. They start to skate it into the zone. He gets pushed to the outside. They fire it on net. Ram now picks it up in the corner. He throws it up the wall to Amos. Amos gets it out to Olsen. Olsen tries to get it up. Olsen now moving up the far side. He fires it on net. That deflects off behind the net. The Admirals now pick it up in the middle of the zone there. As they start to skate it into the neutral zone, they chip it up. That goes to Simonson. Simonson now with the puck. He dumps it down in the middle. That's intercepted by the Admirals. They fire it in. That's offsides. They waved it off. That's big time's offsides. But we'll play on. Puck now picks up. Barr's going to pick it up on the far side. He has that puck poked away. Comes all the way back into the zone. Cronin goes to pick it up. He skates it around behind that. He hits the brakes. He then chips it up. He picks it up back in the corner. He chips it up to Barr, who picks it up in the half wall. Barr then tries to backhand it. That's intercepted. They fire it on net. Lombardo stops. Puck's loose. He's able to cover that one up. And we'll have a face-off in our zone. Nick comes away with the draw. He gets taken on in the corner. We're going to have a high sticking penalty here. Sorry, not a penalty. They just had the face-off come out in the zone. Face-off comes out. Puck's loose right in the neutral zone. Guardians able to get back on side. Campbell then backhands it deep into the zone. O'Brien comes down and crashes down on the far side. That comes around. Campbell's going to pick it up. He's dancing around behind the net. We're going to have a whistle as one of the Admiral players is down. Looks like they'll continue to evaluate him as it looked like his leg was pretty banged up and was not able to skate off the ice under his own power. Coach is back there taking a look. Both teams now starting to move into the face-off here as we'll resume play. With 9:25 left in the second period, scores 3-0 in favor of the Guardians. Face-off comes out to Higgy at the point. He steps around a few players. O'Brien then takes a shot. Arm goes up in the air. We got a delayed call. Admirals touch up, and we're going to have a whistle. And Guardians will go on the power play. Face-off down in the Admiral zone. Guardians now on the power play. Face-off comes out to O'Brien. O'Brien cuts back. He's now got a lane to the net. He cuts it back to the outside.
Penalty, number 19,
He dumps it
Trey
down to Barr
Stone
behind the
for
net.
tripping.
Barr now with it. He cuts back. He's skating it around behind the net. He's looking for an opening. He tries to get it out to Cromlin, but his pass is off the mark. That goes all the way down into their own zone, forces Simonson to go back to pick it up. Simonson picks it up as he skates it around behind the net. He then passes to the Barr. He can't hold on to it. Admirals pick it up in their own zone as they start to regroup. They move it to the outside. Brian goes down. Barr now with it. He moves it around down behind the net. He skates it around. He hits the brakes. He scribbles back. He then dumps it off to Campbell. Campbell now walking through the corner. He gets it back to Barr. Barr steps back into the corner. Passes it right out front. O'Brien's tied up there. He's not able to get a stick on it. That comes out into the neutral zone. Cronlin goes D to D over to Simonson. Simonson starts to look up the ice. He passes up to Barr. Gets chipped up to Campbell. Campbell comes out with it. He goes cross ice over to Cronlin. Cronlin now moves it up to O'Brien. O'Brien now moving it up the far side. He drops it off the Barr. Barr then has that puck poked away. Admirals then throw it the length of the ice. That's going to be tipped by Cronlin. Simonson's forced to go back to pick it up. Simonson curls around. He gets around that pressure. He moves it up. Campbell now has got some room to the outside. He hits the brakes. He moves it over to Simonson. Simonson steps around a guy. He backhands it over to Lynette. Lynette takes a swing, stands on it as that puck just hopped over a stick. Simonson then picks it up on the backside of the net. And the goaltender is going to hold on. And we'll have a face-off down in their end. Both teams are now full strength again. Olsen in to take the draw. The Admirals win it down into their corner. He's met by Olsen and then come out with it. And that's now battling. And that comes out with it. He starts to skate it to the net. He fires. That's poked away. Shot then it goes down behind the net. Admirals pick it up. They start to go up the wall. They then come move it into the middle of the ice. That's broken up by Higgy. Olsen sits up. He picks it up to himself. And that's going to be offsides. Face-off's pushed forward. They're not trying to get that puck down deep. Admirals then take it away as they start to move through the neutral zone. They try to get it around Higgy. That hits Higgy's skate. That comes over the corner. Admirals pick it back up. They skate it deeper in the zone. They now move it in towards the net. They skate it around behind the net. They're now moving it through the top of the zone. They cut back in deep. They then go cross ice out high. They fire it on net. That deflects, bounces, and Lombardo's going to hold on to that one. We'll have a face-off down in our own end. .6:35 left here in the second. Face-off in the Guardian zone. Face-off's pushed back to Cronlin. Cronlin then rims it around. Barr's going to try to pick that up. He's not able to hold on. They take a shot. That deflects off into the corner. Lombardo able to make the save. Campbell now pushes that one over to the far side. They've been centering pass. That's deflected high up into the air. That comes all the way out in the neutral zone. Admirals then go across ice. That's going to bounce to Cronlin as he's got some time to regroup. He passes it up the boards. There's nobody there. They then fire it down deep. That's going to rim all the way around. Simonson's going to pick it up in the far corner. He tries to push it up the wall. O'Brien then tries to get at the bar. That's just out of his reach. Admirals dump it deep into the zone once again. Cronlin goes back to pick it up. He skates it around. He passes it up near side board. Barr then chips it up to Campbell. Campbell's then bodied, taken down. O'Brien's then stripped off the puck. They dump it back in the neutral zone. They now move it into the zone. They step around a guy. They cut back the other way. They fire. Simonson's able to break that up. Puck's loose. They backhand it and score. Admirals score their first goal at 5:23 left in the first period. Score is now 3-1. Still in favor of the Guardians.
Milwaukee goal scored by number 11, Crosby Shilton Beats. Time of goal, 8:37.
Face off here at center ice. Comes away with it. Olsen's trying to break that play up, trying to get it up to Amos. Amos now comes out with it. He gets it into the Admiral zone. He gets it down deep in the corner. He then centers right out front where Lynette is. He fires. That goes up. I think it hit the crossbar and into the netting. Amos had a nice centering pass there right to Lynette. Lynette fires and just ends up over the top of the net. Nearly a goal. Shot right on net. That goes wide. Admirals got to pick it up on the far side. They go high up off the glass trying to get it out. Amos is there. Does a nice job holding that puck into the zone. The net tries to pick that up on the far side. He knocks it back behind the net where Admirals pick it up. They pass it up. Admirals now moving it out in the neutral zone. Moravicek's there. He pushes it in. And we're going to be offsides. Face-off pushed out to Cronlin. Cronlin dumps it deep. Admirals pick it up. They go D to D in their own zone. O'Brien's trying to put pressure on, trying to hold that puck in. He does a nice job. He dumps it deep. Barr's now racing down into the corner. He picks it up. He sees Campbell. Tries to get out front. Puck's loose. Campbell picks it up behind the net. He goes down. Admirals now coming up the near side here. They move it out into the neutral zone. Cronlin trying to push him out. He pokes that puck away right on the blue line. He's able to get it out. He chips it up to Barr. Barr now with it. He's moving into the zone. He's got O'Brien. He dumps it back to O'Brien. O'Brien chips. Goes off the post into the corner. Puck's now coming out by the Admirals. They go all the way across ice. They can't hold on to it, but they're able to tip it. It's not going to be an ice. Simonson hustles into the corner trying to get it. He's tripped. Same kid. Cronlin picks it up. He chips it up. Barr then tips it out into the middle of the ice to O'Brien. O'Brien now skating it through the neutral zone. He chips it over to Campbell. Campbell now moving up the far side. He's starting to slow things up a bit. Tries moving middle. Barr with it. He fans. Admirals pick it up. As they start to skate it out of the zone, they move it out in the middle of the ice. They can't hold on. That's stripped away in the middle. Puck's loose. Admirals pick it back up. They start to gain the zone. That's poked away by Barr. They then dump it down deep into the zone. Cronlin pushing it up the boards. Cronlin skates it up out of the zone. He's moving out of the neutral zone. He chips it around the defense. He picks it up on the far side. He's got Lynette on the backside. He passes it over. Shot and a goal. That is a beautiful play there by Cronlin as he's able to push that puck up the wall. Sees Lynette breaking on the backside. Gets it over to him and he buries it. So that is Lynette with a goal and assist from Cronlin for goal number 4 with 3:02 left in the second period.
Guardians goal scored by number 9,
Admirals chip the puck in the zone.
assisted by
Higgy
number
picks it up.
86, Kevin Cronlin. Time of
Higgy
goal,
backhands it
10:15.
up to Amos. Admirals then pick it back up, dump it deep into the zone. Higgy picks it up in the far corner. He hits the brakes, moves it up to Lynette. Lynette moves it up to Olsen. Olsen can't hold on to it. Admirals then intercept. They fire it on net. That deflects out. Lombardo kicks it off into the corner. Puck's now loose. Puck's loose right out in front. Lombardo thought he had that one covered, but that puck was free and ends up in the back of the net. Score is now 4-2. 2:32 left in the second period. Face-off battle around the dot.
Milwaukee goal scored by number 10, Mason
Admirals
Bush.
chip it back into the neutral zone as they start to skate it out of the zone.
Goal 11-28.
And go to the outside. They hit the brakes. O'Brien's unable to swoop in. He passes it up to Campbell. Campbell now moving through. He moves it over to Barr. Barr with it. He fires it on net. The goaltender's going to hold on to that one and we'll have a face-off down in their end. Face-off loose. The Admirals come out with it. Then backhand it over into the far boards. They chip it up. Higgy steps up. He starts to move it to the zone. He's then stripped out the puck as the Admirals start to skate it out of their zone and then move it up into the neutral zone as they start to gain the Guardian zone. That comes in the middle. That's intercepted by O'Brien. O'Brien now gets the Barr. Barr backhands it. Campbell then kicks it up into the zone. That's going to go on net. They play it off. They play it around behind their net. O'Brien there, he pokes that puck away. He's now battling down in the corner along with Olsen. Admirals now picking it up. They start to skate it out of their zone. They then go cross ice. That's going to be long. He turns around as he goes back to pick it up. He throws it back up the boards. The net now with the puck. He skates it all the way back into his own zone. He circles out. He's able to skate it out of the zone. He tries to get up. Barr now with it. He skates it back. He tries to create some space. He then turns. He's poked off the puck right in the neutral zone. Admirals now dump it down deep. They go for a change. Novacek trying to go back to Higgy. Admirals pick it up on the half wall. They then move it out to the top of the circle. They fire it on net. That's tipped. Goes wide. Moravicek now picks up the corner. He rims it all the way around. They slap it on net. That kicks out. Puck's loose in front. They fire. That goes wide of the net. Moravicek now battling. They throw it out front one more time. And Bartle gets a stick out there to keep that one out of the danger area. Their D's able to pinch on the far side. The Admirals pick it up in the far corner. They start to skate it in towards the net. They throw it on net. Puck's loose right out in front of the net. Both teams going down. Bartle's got a leg out there trying to hold on to it. Higgy comes out with it. He goes high off the glass. Admiral's still able to hold the zone. Now Olsen finally able to clear it out into the neutral zone. Olsen now with it. And that's going to do it for the second period. So after two, score is 4-2 in favor of the Guardians. Shots on net, 19 for the Guardians and 23 for the Admirals. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back for the third. Face-off won by the Admirals. Nearly intercepted there by Amos. Admirals now coming through the neutral zone. They move it to the outside. They fire it on net. Lombardo's going to stick the glove out there and hold on to that one. Pull the face-off down in the Guardian zone. Face-off won by the Admirals. They fire it down deep into the zone. Conlon picks it up. He rims it around. Lanette's going to try to pick that up on the half wall. Admirals come out with it. They go to their D. They fire it on net. That's deflected. 2 deflections. Goes wide of the net. Conlon now rims that around to the far side. We're going to have a penalty there by Lanette as he puts his body into that player on the wall.
You got to call them all now. Stay on your feet, buddy. Go, Guardian! That little rough snap? Yeah.
But it's Amos who got the penalty there. Face off down in the Guardian zone. Conlon pushes that puck down into the corner. Admirals come out with it. They try to centering pass. That goes all the way over to the half wall.
Guardians penalty, number 6, John Amos,
He
5
chips it up
seconds.
into the neutral zone. That's going to be offsides on the Admirals. They'll face off just outside the zone. This will help us out here. They're moving the face-off here over into the center of the ice. Face-off won by the Admirals. They dump it back to their D. They then go cross ice as they start to regroup. They're looking up the ice. They move it out in the middle. Guardians now, or Admirals move it to the neutral zone. They fire it on net. They chip it on net. That goes wide. They pass it back out front. Barr picks it up. Barr now skating it out of the zone. He tips it off the boards to Campbell. Campbell now racing into the zone. He picks it up. He skates it around behind the net. He hits the brakes, dumps it back behind the net. Barr's going to go back trying to retrieve. Barr intercepts. He's then stripped off the puck. Admirals now coming back out the far side. They move it up. More of a check. Trying to step up, but he goes down. So they come through. That chips up over the top of the net. They come back through. That's broken up by Higgy. Higgy then tries to chip it up the boards, but the Admirals defense is able to get there and hold it in. Morvachuk then slams it around to the far side. They drop it back to their point. They fire it on net. That goes wide. They fire it on net. Morvachuk able to get a skate on it, kick it out of danger. They come back to that. They fire it with a hard shot down deep into the corner. So it's intercepted by Campbell. Campbell goes cross ice over to Amos. Amos now with it. He backhands it to Barr. Barr now with it on the far side. He backhands it up, and it's a goal! He backhands that one right up over the top of the goaltender for goal number 5. So that's Barr with the goal, an assist from Amos. Amos racing down. Puck comes back.
Guardians goals from Brantley Barr, assisted by number 6, John Amos. Time of goal, 2:26.
Well, that now intercepts that puck right on the blue line. He steps around. He's then knocked off the puck. Admirals now coming back through the other way. Looks like Olsen's going to get a penalty there for a cross check.
Now we're diving.
Guardians go back on the power play with 11:11 left in the third period. Sorry, penalty kill. Face-off will come back into the Guardian zone. Puck goes deep into the corner and it's rimmed around behind the net where Simonson's going to pick it up. He hits the brace. He comes back to the near corner. He rims it around. The net races over. He tries to backhand it up out of the zone, but Admirals are able to hold. Then goes cross ice. It's intercepted by Cronin. Cronin moves it up to Amos. Amos now trying to race. Admirals are able to get there, pick up the puck as they rim it, come around behind the net. They start to skate it out of their own zone. Admirals now gain it into the zone. They move it to the outside. They try to centering it. The net's now able to hit that puck back out in the neutral zone. Admirals now regrouping. That's going to be offsides. Well, face off just outside the Guardian zone.
Go, George, stay focused.
Olsen able to battle his, or Hagee's able to battle his way through and dump that puck down deep into the Admiral zone. They go D to D behind the net. They then move it up the boards. And then move it out in the middle of the ice. That's broken up by Campbell. Campbell steps around a guy. Campbell's a couple toe drags there. He then gets it out into the middle of the ice, intercepted by the Admirals. Hagee's then able to hustle up, hold that puck deep into the zone. Campbell's going to pick it up behind the net. Admirals then skated around behind the net, intercepted by Campbell. Campbell gets it over to O'Brien. O'Brien fires. That goes off into the corner. Admirals then rim it around the far side as they get it out of the zone. They try to get across ice. That's broken up by the Guardians, but then Guardians have it stripped away. Admirals now getting it into the zone. Morvacek pushing to the outside. They backhand it. That's blocked away by Lombardo. And now comes the bar on the half wall. He gets it up to O'Brien. That just hops over the top of the stick. Admirals now come back up the ice. That's offsides. And we'll have a face-off outside the zone. Face-off gets pushed out into the Admiral zone. They move it out into the neutral zone as they start to gain the zone. Cronin then picks up the puck. He circles back. He passes it up to Amos. Amos moves it up to Olsen. Olsen now moving up the far side. He tries to move it. That puck deflects up into the air. Puck goes right up in the air, lands right on top of the net. We'll have a face-off.
Stay ready.
Guardians win the draw. Lynette then circles back into the zone. He goes cross ice to Amos. Amos then able to battle his way through, get that puck deep. He centers, pass, it gets right to Olsen. He fires, that's kicked away. Amos then takes a shot. That deflects up into the air and goes all the way over to the far side. The Admirals now skating around behind the net. They hit the brace, come back up the far wall. They move it out. Cronin's able to step up. He starts to move it into the zone. He gets that puck poked away, comes right back to him. He backhands it over to Lynette, where Lynette's going to pick it up on the half wall. He's then stripped off the puck. That's going to come through. Simonson gets to it. He's able to step across the blue line and come back into the zone. He moves it all the way around, tips it out front. Guardians trying to get a shot on. Olsen then able to step up to hold the puck in the zone. Lynette picks it up. He skates it around behind the net. He then backhands it right out front. Shot, kicked, pushed right there. And they're able to keep that one out. We'll have another face-off down in the Admiral zone with 7:51 left in the third period.
Win the battles, boys.
Admirals pick it up in the corner. They rim it around. That's going to come out to Morvacek at the point. Morvacek steps around a guy, then moves it up to O'Brien. O'Brien trying to hold on to it. Comes out to Barr. Barr now with it. He steps it around. He goes down. He pushes it towards the net. That kicks all the way over into the corner. They then throw it up the boards. That's going to go the length of the ice and be an icing. Face-off ends up into the corner. Admirals pick it up. They take it out the far side. Morvacek steps up, not able to hold the zone. It's then poked away at neutral zone. Puck battle right inside the blue line there. Campbell comes in. He gets it into the zone. Admirals then able to push it back out of the zone. Morvacek steps up, but Admirals are able to take it. They fire it on net. It hits off the chest of Lombardo. They then chip it around behind the net over the far corner. Morvacek goes to pick it up. He sends it up the wall, and that's going to go the length of the ice. It hits a bunch of snows. Rent the icing. Bar's hustling down in. They rim it around the far side where O'Brien's going to be able to pick it up. He can't quite hold on to it. And then it comes out to the Bar in the high slot. He fires it on net, and the goaltender's able to get his glove out there and snatch that one and hold on. We'll have a face-off with 6:38 left down in the Admiral zone.
We're ready, here we go!
The Admirals win the draw. They then rim it around behind the net over the far side. They push it up the wall. They're then stripped off the puck in the neutral zone. Cronin pushes it back up into the middle. Admirals pick it up. The Admirals then poked off the puck. Puck's loose, dancing around right in the middle of the neutral zone here. They throw it out. Simonson picks it off. He dumps it off to Cronin. Cronin tries to go back to Simonson. They try to fire it on that. That goes all the way over into the far corner. Simonson now trying to get control of that puck. He tries to move it up to the net. Admirals then dump it down deep. Crowlin goes into the corner to pick it up. He tries to get it. Puck now going around behind the net. They center it right out front and then kicks out over into the far corner where Amos is able to pick it up and start to skate it out of the zone. He chips it up, trying to get it to Lynette. It hits the back. Lynette's not sure where that went. It's all the way down into the far corner of the Admiral zone as they start to come up near the far wall. It's then poked away by Campbell, but Admirals are able to come out with it. Now intercepted by Lynette. Lynette now, Crowlin steps up to help him out. Admirals come back with it. They push it to the outside as they're down into the Guardian zone. Simonson, they're going to call a penalty. Not sure what that was for. Holding. They're going to call a holding penalty on Simonson. And Guardians will go back on the penalty kill. .5:13 left in the third period. Some confusion here on the Admiral side. Guardians win the draw. They rim it around. Amos then tries to chip it up out of the boards. That comes out. They fire it on net. That goes wide. That's going to rim all the way around where Campbell's going to pick it up in the far wall. He chips it up into the neutral zone to O'Brien. O'Brien now rushing up the ice into the Admiral zone. He gets around the defense, cuts back, puck's loose right in front. Campbell there tries to shove that one in. That goes over into the near corner. Admirals pick it up. They then go cross ice. That hops over their stick. Morvacek goes back in their own zone. He tries to chip it up the boards, but Admirals were able to hold it. They then chip it around. They're skating it around behind the net. They try to pass it out front. They shoot. That goes wide. Their defense is going to scoot in the pinch. They fire it on net. That hits off the shin pad of Campbell. He's limping a little bit there. That one probably stung a little bit. Morvacek now tying up. Puck's loose right out in front. Higgy's able to push that puck out of the front of the net. He then rims it around. That comes back to the near side. O'Brien trying to get there. Morvacek now steps up. He pushes it up out of the zone. That's going to go all the way down into the Admirals zone where they're going to pick it up and regroup. They then pass it out into the neutral zone. They can't hold on to it cleanly. Crowlin picks it up behind the net. He passes it up the boards.
Hold. Where's our holding? You got him. Cut up.
So we got a delayed call there. They're calling that penalty on us.
Oh, you got the wrong guy there, pal. Hey, what are we doing? He's holding his stick.
Guardians back on the penalty kill. Admirals fire that one on net. That goes off the side of the net. Simonson then rims it around. Barr's going to try to chip it around the defense. Not able to get it around them. They dump it back deep into the zone. Simonson's going to get it. He's going to hit the break and then come back around behind the net. He comes back up the far wall. He passes up the Bar. Bar trying to chip it out. Admirals pick it back up as they go back into the zone. They fire it. That goes all the way over to the far side. They throw it down deep into the corner. As they start to walk it out, they pass it through. That's going to go all the way out into the neutral zone. Admirals going to pick it up as they start to regroup. They go D to D.
Guardian penalty, number 86, Kevin Conlon, hooking.
Puck gets down into the Guardian zone. Morvacek picks it up on the far side. He tries to chip it up. He skates it up out of the zone. He gets stripped out the puck right at the blue line. Admirals now fired on net. Kick saved by Lombardo. That comes all the way back out to the point. They fired on net one more time, but that hits one of the Guardian players. Simonson picks it up in the corner. That comes all the way down. We'll have an icing on the Guardians. Will face off down in the Guardian zone with 2:11 left in the third period. Scores 5-2 in favor of the Guardians. Guardians will have 17 seconds left on this penalty kill. Face-off's won by the Guardians. Morvacek then rims it around the boards. He's going to pick it up in the corner. He's battling now on the half wall as he tries to push that puck up. The Admirals pick it up. They skate it towards the net. They go out high to the far side D. They fire it towards the net, but Iggy's there. He blocks it down. He then chips it up to Campbell, who's got a clear break to the net. He steps around, shot, and a goal. As he's able to deke around that goaltender and shove it in short side for goal number 6. So that's Campbell with the goal with an assist from Higgy.
Go, stay ready!
Admirals send that puck out into the neutral zone. They then dump it down deep. Crowlin goes back to pick it up behind the net. He
Guardians
spins it all the way
goals for
around.
number 11, Owen
That
Campbell,
comes out to
assisted by
Amos.
number 8,
Amos now skating on his own. He tries to chip it up to Olsen. Olsen's taking off the puck. Crowlin then steps up right on the blue line. He intercepts. He's now moving it up through the zone. He moves it to the outside. He's now skating around. Passes it right out front. Puck's loose. Comes right out to Amos. Amos fires. That's deflected out into the far wall. He picks it back up. Centering pass one more time. That comes right to Lynette. Lynette fires. That's blocked away by the goaltender. It comes out. Simonson moves into the zone.
Help him! Help him!
Simonson now battling behind the net. That comes down the near side to Lynette. Lynette now battling the corner. Crowlin steps up to hold the zone. Simonson now gets taken down.
Where's our call?
Puck comes down in the neutral zone.
The same
Admirals
kid.
pick it up. They're moving to the outside. They
Dirty.
fire it down into
Dirty
the
player.
Guardian zone. Olsen battling down in the near corner. Olsen comes out with it as he skates around the net. He then passes it out to O'Brien. O'Brien then, or Campbell gets it to O'Brien. O'Brien now picks it up in the neutral zone. He tries to get it out in the middle. The Guardians are making a change. Nobody's there. Admirals then moving through. Barr pokes that puck away. He skates it back in his own zone, then moves it over to Higgy. Higgy chips it up, trying to get it to O'Brien. That's just out of his reach. Admirals intercept. They start to move that puck through the neutral zone. They then dump it. That hits off the helmet of Cronlund. So, and that's the final buzzer. So that'll do it here for the weekend. Guardians come away with the sweep. This game's won 6-2. Final shots on net were Guardians 31, Admirals 27. Both teams lining up to shake hands. So that'll do it for the weekend. Guardians played great hockey all weekend. Come away with the sweep against the Admirals. So all those who tuned in over the weekend, just want to say thank you for watching. So we'll be off next weekend, and then we'll be back the weekend after. So for now, this is Guardians Hockey signing off.